Welcome back to another episode of Nightmares and News, where we pride ourselves on bringing you spooky updates on all things horror and the latest in horror news. Make sure to follow so you never miss an update from the Horror Burrito, because today we talk Evil Dead Wrath is wrap production, releasing in 2028. From director Sebastian Vinciek, Evil Dead Burn releases in theaters July 10th. But that's not the only new Evil Dead movie on its way from Warner Bros. And New Line. Evil Dead Wrath is officially wrap production. Bloody Disgusting has learned recently that the upcoming film will release on April 7th of 2028. Writer and director Francis Galuppi, known for his work on The Last Stop in Yuma County, is in charge of Evil Dead Wrath. We know nothing about the approach at the time, so stay tuned for updates. Francis Galuppi is a storyteller who is known to keep us waiting in simmering tension and when to hit us with explosive violence. He is a director that shows uncommon control in his feature debut. Producer Sam Raimi told Deadline in an official statement, "We expect that much like Evil Dead Burn, Evil Dead Wrath will tell a brand new story of a new group of characters being terrorized by the savage horrors within the Book of the Dead." Evil Dead creator Sam Raimi and franchise producer Rob Tappert are producing. Bruce Campbell and Lee Cronin will executive produce alongside Rommel Adam and Jose Canis. Surprise! Markiplier's Iron Lung gets an early home release on YouTube. Mega popular content creator Markiplier has surprised fans with an early home release for his debut feature, Iron Lung. Markiplier shares that Iron Lung is now available for purchase on YouTube. Markiplier stars in Iron Lung, which he also wrote and directed. The video game adaptation was self-distributed and scared up 50 million in theaters earlier this year. Here's the official synopsis. The stars are gone. The planets have disappeared. Only individuals aboard space stations or starships were left to give it the end a name. The Quiet Rapture. Decay and crumbling infrastructure. The consolidation of iron has made a discovery on a barren moon, designated AT-5. An ocean of blood, hoping to discover desperately needed resources, they immediately launch an expedition. A submarine crafted and a convict is welded inside, due to the pressure and depth of the ocean. The forward viewpoint has been encased in metal. If successful, they will earn their freedom. Iron Lung is an adaptation of an indie horror game. McDonald's no clips out of reality with unexpected backroom short movie. The best part about engaging with collaborative genre fiction on the internet is that anyone can get in on the action, with worldwide accessibility often resulting in absurd story beats that wouldn't be possible if any single person was responsible for the entire narrative. And while Kane Parsons' Backrooms film is definitely the young filmmaker's own unique take on the infamous creepypasta, it's fun to see other creators join the Backrooms sandbox. As if cleverly time-released like Puppets combos, the Backrooms game weren't enough. Not to mention that scary movie poster poking fun at Parsons' flick. McDonald's official social media accounts have now released an analog horror video of their own celebrating the liminal terrors of the Mcrooms, complete with a familiar purple surprise at the end of the footage. It's funny enough to see the world's most recognizable fast food giant engage in the internet-born found footage thrills seemingly out of the blue. The video is actually referencing a long-running gag among the Backrooms fandom, where creators jokingly talk about there being a fully functional McDonald's restaurant hidden somewhere on level 0 of the infamous liminal labyrinth. Now, would it be too much to hope for a moist carpet-flavored McShake to tie in with the film? Backrooms is now playing in theaters from A24. Have you seen it yet? Old school survival horror awaits in Heavy Metal Death Camp on Steam. Steeped in deep-sea terror and crushing claustrophobia, Kirk's Productions has unleashed their unforgiving old school survival horror title, Heavy Metal Death Camp, to Steam. Taking place in an alternate history 1970s Cold War submarine Dominer in the depths of the Norwegian Sea, you must fight to stay alive against your fallen crew. Their corpses controlled by insidious sludge, and as you do, you must work to find survivors and uncover the mystery behind the sludge. To quote, "We can't wait to see what players will think about the game. We hope it will be something that will challenge them, occasionally scare them, but most importantly bring them nostalgic joy for a genre that we feel still has a lot to offer," says Cursed Production founder and creative Tobias Carlson. Back to quoting, "Heavy Metal Death Camp is an honest expression of two 30-something misfits following their creative impulses, for better or worse, because nobody is there to tell them otherwise." Much like titles as Crow Country, Heavy Metal Death Camp is inspired by the style of early console classics. The game sports the classic fixed camera angles and tank controls, with optional modernized controls. It's also not for the lackadaisical. Resource management and high-stakes decision-making are required, as the sludge isn't a threat you can simply shoot your way through. Every bullet must be carefully considered. The Lost Boys musical extends its Broadway run with North America tour set for spring 2028. The Lost Boys, a new musical, officially kicked off on Broadway last month, and Deadline reports that the show's Broadway run has been extended into next year. The show was originally set to run through November, but Deadline reports that The Lost Boys, a new musical, has released a block of tickets through Sunday, March 7th, 2027. The news comes in wake of The Lost Boys, a new musical, becoming the most Tony-nominated musical of the season, with 12 nominations including Best Musical. Additionally, The Lost Boys will launch a North American tour in spring 2028 at Playhouse Square in Cleveland. Additional cities and tour dates will be announced later on. The Lost Boys, a new musical, is of course an adaptation of the 1987 horror classic film. When a mother and her two teenage sons move to Santa Clara in desperate need of a fresh start, they soon uncover the darker side of a sunny coastal community. While Lucy tries to piece her family's life back together, Michael keeps pulling away in search of belonging. Cannibal Holocaust heads to theaters with a version you've never seen from Grindhouse releasing. Ruggiero Diodato's Cannibal Classic Cannibal Holocaust is headed to theaters nationwide from Grindhouse, releasing a newly restored special edition. Originally released in 1980, the controversial horror classic remains one of the most infamous and influential films in the genre. Grindhouse premiered the new version of Cannibal Holocaust at Beyond Fest in Los Angeles and is now booking exclusive theatrical dates in advance of the eagerly awaited 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray release. Cannibal Holocaust presents the found footage of four young documentary filmmakers who experienced brutal death at the hands of a savage South American tribe of flesh eaters. The footage will now be shown for the first time fully uncensored and restored in its native 16mm aspect ratio, as audiences have never seen it before. Grindhouse releasing warns, Cannibal Holocaust is now more disturbing than ever. And that's all the news I have for you today, my lovely fiends. Stay spooky, keep those claws sharp, and consume more souls of the living. I've been your host, Bumps of the Night, and as always, we appreciate your viewership. I'd like to ask if you want to help out the channel. Click some of the buttons, like, comment, share, subscribe. Any of those things are great for the algorithm, and those help me bring you more news on the daily. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll scare you in the next one.